Hi there, I'm Ron Parrish and I am in Bali, Indonesia. I'm up in the mountains in the central part of the island. I love it here. And I wish I could share this experience of being in this beautiful rainforest with you. Also, you may listen carefully and hear in the background a mosque. And then coming from this direction is the gongs from a Hindu temple. So this is characteristic of Bali, especially this area. A mixture of Muslims and Hindus. I love it. But today I'm not here to tell you about Bali. I'm here to tell you about a spiritual exercise, a way that you can grow spiritually, a way that you can grow in your faith, a way that you can experience God's presence. I wrote a book on it recently called Building Your Spiritual Core, 101 Creative Ways to Connect with God. And actually this book has been compiled over a lifetime. And I found that there are exercises that I've done for years that I've learned from others that cause me to be able to express my love to God. Exercises in which I find relief from stress. Exercises that help me to pray with greater faith. There are exercises that help us cultivate gratitude. And this is my favorite one. What I'm going to share with you today is very simple, and yet it has profound impact on our lives. It's transformed me. I've done it daily for at least 14 years, and I'm not exaggerating. Daily. And so what I do, and this is how it works, it's very simple. I get my cup of coffee first, but before I do anything else other than have my cup of coffee in hand, I pull out my journal, and you could use any kind of instrument to write with. You can use a computer or your iPhone or your tablet, but I take a pen and my journal and I begin to reflect on the last 24 hours. And the question is, how has God blessed me in the last 24 hours? How's He answered my prayers? How's He shown me His love? How's He brought me pleasure? It may be a meal that I've enjoyed. It may be a conversation that I had with a friend. It may be a chance that He could speak through me and a chance to share the gospel with a Muslim or a Hindu. It could be any number of things. It could be a task that I got out of the way. I actually accomplished the task. And I say, thank you, God, for. And rather than write out thank you, God, for, I just put a check mark. And you can see an example of a journal. Thank you, God, for. And I list as many things as I can think of. Now, this may be easier for you because if you've not done this or you haven't done it in a long time, you could think back to 2 weeks ago or a month ago or a year ago. But I think in the last 24 hours, and I come up with a list. Now, sometimes it takes me 20, 30 minutes to come up with a list that I think, okay, these are some of the ways that God's blessed me yesterday or in the last 24 hours. Because God's blessings are hard to count. They're vast and numerous. And so once I've completed thinking through, meditating on, making note of as many blessings as I can think of. I love the song, every blessing you pour out, I'll turn back to praise. And that's our goal. But even though I know God can read, what I do once I've jotted these notes is as I stand up, and I like to pray standing up. I actually prefer to pray walking, but that's kind of hard to film. And especially in a place like this, I love to walk. And I'll take my journal and literally read it out to God. I'll say, Father, thank you so much for getting to talk to Heather yesterday on the phone. Thank you so much for the enchilada dinner that Janine made last night. Thank you so much for getting to talk to Booty, the taxi driver, about who you really are. He'd never heard you or of you. And I just go down my list. And in the middle of it, something often comes to mind that I forgot to make note of. And then spontaneously I'll add to it. And so I feel like it's an important part of my life. It's important to all of us to remember the good things God's done for us and to give Him gratitude that He's worthy of. Now, I want to be honest with you. My life's been transformed through this exercise. I've done it for at least 14 years, every day. But even more importantly, I think the heart of God is blessed. Now, I want to close with this story. You know this story. There were 10 people with a terrible skin disease that came to Jesus one day and pleaded with Him to be healed. And he said, go and show yourself to the priest. Now, we don't know if they were healed immediately, but sometime in the process of going to show themselves to the priest, as was the Jewish custom, they were healed. Now, what's interesting about that story, only one person, not even a full-blooded Jewish person, a Samaritan, stopped and said, this isn't right. I've got to go back to the Messiah, the teacher, the one that healed me, and I've got to tell him thank you. And when he came back to Jesus, Jesus took note of it, because Jesus takes note of our gratitude. Not only that, the man, it says in the scriptures, was made whole. He had been healed, but something happened in him spiritually when he paused and said, I'm going to take time and tell God thank you. I want to take time and tell the one who blessed me thank you. How worthy he is of our gratitude. And if you want to experience the presence of God, you practice gratitude. Gratitude is not something we feel necessarily. Gratitude is what we do. Rarely do I wake up feeling grateful, but I always feel more grateful after the first 30 minutes of my day. God bless you. Try this. Take a pen, a piece of paper, make a list. Take your computer, make a list, bullet point it with just ways that God's blessed you, ways that God's loved you, things that you might say, oh, that's spiritual, or that's not very spiritual, but you found it to be a good gift. For all the gifts come from the good and perfect Father. And so we remember that through this exercise. God bless you.